Welcome to the interview of the magic of choice. Tonight, oh wait, I'm hearing myself again. There we go. Tonight we have invited Sybil Jensen, and I love to hear the story and share the story from Sybil with you. So welcome, Sybil.
Hi, Ariana. How are you?
I am wonderful.
That's wonderful. Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year for everyone.
A new year for us all to start.
Yes. Thank you, Sybil, for being here. I would like that you tell me a little bit who Sybil is.
My name is Sybil Jensen, and I'm a retired RPN. I used to work at the Village Retirement Home in Ridgetown, which I loved. And I also love my dogs. And 2 years ago, I lost my golden retriever, Jackson. And he was the light of my life, and it was very sudden. And since being retired, I think my children thought, why do you want to get another dog? Well, I've always had a dog with me and always by my side. And that's when I got Remy. I got Remy a year and a half ago. And the family thought, you're getting older, Mom, and you don't need a dog pulling you down the street, because then you'll fall and you'll break a hip. And that's why a year and a half ago, I got Remy. And before I got Remy, I found Joyful Support. And I got in touch with Ariana, and I said, I'm getting a puppy. And I said, it's important that this puppy doesn't pull me, because my family doesn't want me falling. And I didn't want to get a small dog. If some people like small dogs, some people like big dogs, and I'm used to golden retrievers, and it's just the breed that I'm attached to. And I said to Ariana, even before I got Remy, going to start training Remy, and I need your help. So I was on board 100%.
Yes, and I want to dive into that because you were so committed to prove your children that you can do this. And that made sense in your training, because we can help you with training, but if you don't do the practice and the things at home, it doesn't work. But you committed to it. You dove in 100%. And that paid off, right?
It definitely has paid off, but as I have said to you time and time again, it's 100%. It's commitment, and it's ongoing training. You can teach a dog how to sit. You can walk with your dog. Remy walks on loose leash. Sometimes in the fall, if the leaves are blowing, he's just a year and a half, and he's just like a regular pup or a toddler. He goes after those leaves, but he's easily directed. He has learned games like It's Your Choice. I made videos and sent you with the videos, because I'd say, this is not working out. I'm not doing this right, or he's not doing it right. And you would correct what I was doing wrong. And it's keeping in sync with your dog, and that your dog doesn't get confused. Like, what do you want today, lady? Like, what do you want me to do? You have to make sure the dog has clear direction. You have to practice and practice. It's not just 2 or 3 months and it's learned. Remy is still learning, and I'm still learning. And that's the main point, that I am learning. And I just feel Remy is a companion to me, and he's a beautiful dog, but I'm his protector, and it's my job to protect him. And that's why for recall is so important. And it's important when you call the dog, if he doesn't come, use something else, like tell them to sit. And if they're 100 feet away from you and he sits, that could save the dog's life. Like, you have
Yes.
to have your dog be able to, you know, when I call you, you come. And it's practice, practice, practice.
Yes.
And it's playing with your dog.
Yes. Did
I
you?
never realized how important it was for
Somebody sees us and they're calling you.
Yes, yes.
But you know what? I think that's so important. I want to touch a little bit. You need to have fun to train your dog, isn't it?
You have to have fun, because I found with Remy really feels when I get frustrated. And you just have to look at his body language, because he's looking at my body language and he feels that 100%. And if he feels me getting upset, or if I get frustrated with him, and I have gotten frustrated with him, and I've gone to Ariana and said, like, what's going on here? Last year, if Remy's out walking, and especially if he meets people who he knows with another dog, he jumps up like a clown. And last year was terrible. He was jumping up in a clown, doing loop-de-loops, and he was lunging at my arm, not in an aggressive manner, but he was just overwhelmed. Like, there's a person and they've got my buddy with them. And it took a while to work on that, but that's what you do. You work on it. And I think with Remy too, with being in the middle of COVID, he didn't have the opportunity to really meet with other people and their dogs on the street. This year, he still does it a bit. But if I just say to the person, like, let's just walk on, he settles down instantly, and people are like, he's fine now. Like, what is it? So it's just him overwhelmed, meeting people. He loves people. He loves other dogs. He's very social. You just have to look at his behavior and find a way, how can I change this? And I've done things like, if we meet people, like have him sit, and you have a high value treat. And if he sits there long enough, give it to him, then introduce him to the people. And it works.
Yes.
Not 100%, but there again, it's commitment, working up to that, keep on working up to that initial contact with the person.
Yes. And can I just go back a little bit? Because what you said is, if your dog doesn't know what to do, gets overwhelmed, and you give him a job, he settles with it, right?
That's correct.
Yes. So that's where we really are working on this. There's so many dogs who are so willing to do something for us, but if we forget to give them a job, they find their own job.
That's right. And then they react.
Yeah, and that job is not always what we want, right?
No.
So it's so important that we are aware that our dogs just want a job. They just want to do something for it. They want to feel the value. So if we know that, and we give them a job, and a job is not something that they need to do from 8 till 5, it is something that they just do short term, and it helps them through the moment.
Yes, it does. It definitely does.
Yeah. And then another part what you said, and I wanted to touch on that as well, is you said about high value. So we are working with rewards in the way of treats, but they always lead up to the value from you. So you are building that connection with your dog, and sometimes your value isn't as high as the distraction that is around the dog, right?
That's right.
So if you make your value more by committing to train more, then you start to build more value than a distraction. And also, sometimes we help you to build more with a higher value reward in there. And that's helping to build your value too. So all those things that you just said are so normal already for you, Sybil. But many people are listening, they're like, what is that?
That's right.
Yeah, so that's why I really touched on little things. And in your journey of 1.5 year now that you are with us, we did a couple sessions and then we had a break. And then we did a session again and then we had a break, right? We didn't constantly work together, but we had some time off in between as well to settle a little bit.
That's true. And then you
Yes.
can work on your own and see, see how things develop. And you're always readily available, for an email or something to help out. But it's good to give yourself a rest and look at where you're at and where the dog is.
Yes.
But it's building a connection with your dog and continuing that journey. Like, it just doesn't stop at 6 months. And
No.
I just always stress, my main thing is he's walking loose leash. He walks very, very well, and I'm very, very proud of him. And he sits when I stop, and if I say down, he downs. And that just didn't happen overnight. But the dog, Remy, is always looking at me like, what do you want next? Or what do we want? What do we want to do next? And to keep your dog busy, like Remy likes to play in the morning, he likes to play out in the yard, and play is important. And you don't have to play for half an hour. If you play even for 10, 15 minutes at a time, it gives your dog something to do, and it gives them value and importance. But
Yes.
and I think that's very important too. But I can't stress enough, I think especially with Remy and I, is recall. To me, that's the most important thing, because I wouldn't want anything to happen to Remy. And you see so many people with their dogs running off and won't come back. He's everything to me, and I wouldn't want to see anything happen to him. And when I do let him off leash, I make sure it's a secure place, and that, yes, he does come back to me. And
Yeah.
even if I'm out on the trails, he's always looking behind to see what I'm doing, and he comes back. But I do know it's not 100%. It's not 100%, but I'm careful with him.
Yes, and but he's 1.5 year old, and
Yeah.
he did learn so much. But I wanted to touch a little bit more on the training that you did the last time. The last time you did our course, connection and motion.
Mhm.
Who was learning the most there?
I was. That was fun, but it was most frustrating. And I really think the poor dog, by the end of it, was just looking at me and just precisely saying, "Lady, what are you doing? And by the way, what do you want me to do now?" But Remy's a
Yeah.
smart dog, but like, I wasn't keeping on cue, or I was getting my feet mixed up, because I had no idea how difficult agility is. But agility is in a partnership with you and your dog, and it's where you're running in rhythm. You're doing
Yeah.
in rhythm.
Yeah.
It's that your dog is working with you, and the key is you better be working with your dog,
Yes,
because
and you accomplished a lot there. And Remy had no problem to wait for you because it was fun to
yeah,
even see you thinking.
yeah.
I
But he sat there sometimes and just stared at me, and the look in the poor dog's eyes was like, help.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
but the good part in there is as well that with different focuses on different things that we did and different games, because in the 1.5 years we learned so many different games and everything was building onto each other, right?
Mhm. A lot of times I didn't, some of the games we did, or some of the things we did at the beginning, I didn't quite understand where we were going with that. But then as time went on, it was like the light bulb came on, and it was like, oh, I see now. So it's just like peeling the onion and just building up and building up.
Yes. Yes, I love that you say that because sometimes people don't understand that we cannot jump a ladder so high. We need to do it in smaller steps.
Hmm.
And sometimes they don't see it right away, but the moment that they see it, then they want to practice for it even more.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
And that is Remy is 1.5 years old now, and he is you asked me a month ago how well trained he was, and I said he's advanced trained, right? Because he's
Mhm.
doing so well. So can you tell me what is the next thing that you are planning with Remy?
The next thing I'm planning with Remy is therapy dogs. And again, with COVID, the therapy dog program was to the wayside, like so many things. And I got in touch with St. John's Ambulance and had put my name in for therapy dog assessment because they do an assessment of your dog. And probably just before Christmas, I got an email from this lady who heads up the chapter, I guess you might say, for Chatham Kent. And I was so happy to hear from her. And I think Remy might be a little bit young to get into the program. Um, I think, I'm just sort of a little bit leery, like when he meets people, and especially people who he knows, like he just gets excited because he wants to meet, and that's something to train for. I think that's almost my only thing with him because he's well behaved in other ways. Like he sits and stays, not for a long time, but he will stay. That's something to work on. But I think with the therapy dog, I think with being retired, I'd like to get into the program to help with volunteering and to learn more about the program and work with Remy until he is ready. Because I
Yeah.
think that would be very fulfilling, like taking him into nursing homes or taking him into hospices or such. I think I would enjoy that. And I think Remy would be a good dog for that program because he is gentle, he is good with people, and he does pass a lot of the qualifications for it. Uh, but I think it would be a good start.
Yes, I love that. And I'm so proud about you, Sybil, that you want to share Remy a little bit more with other people who
Mhm.
can use that. And this is part of Joyful Support. We would like that as many people can enjoy dogs. And if they cannot have them for themselves, then we can share them. So we
Mhm.
love that. We really support you in that. And I certainly hope that you get into the program. I know the program is normally asking a little bit older, but it's not wrong to start with it now and know where we need to work on because that will be our next project,
Mhm. Well, that's true too, and
right?
that will be our next project, and it'll be helpful to know, what areas he needs improvement or work on. And I just talking to other people in the past, they said it's important for the dog to be properly evaluated because you don't want a dog going in with our frail seniors or into a school environment that isn't properly behaved or has good manners because it's a very reliable program going through St. John's Ambulance, and you have to take it seriously.
Yes, yes. And I think that is great. And I'm super proud that you come that far. And I love to work with Remy the next couple months more because we really motivate when people get a puppy to start early as you have them. You can start training. We have individual training at Joyful Support in person and online if you want, but in person as well. It's individual, so you can start right away when you get your dog, and it's all tools where you can build connection with your dog from the day that they come, and then you start to play with the fun of games, and you train more and more behaviors that you like to see in your dog because everybody deserves to get his dream dog.
That's
And
true.
you got your dream dog pretty much now, right? So with working through it. Yeah. And then when your puppy is in training, there are certain times where your dog goes through puberty, same as with people, that your dog might get back a little bit in his level of training because he's not sure about himself. He's not confident and he's trying out things. And that is the moment where you, as a dog owner, needs to be aware that you better do a step back now to go forward after it again. And those times in a dog life is in about 6 months, 9 months, and about 1.5 years. And sometimes with retrievers, they go up till 2.5 years as well. So when you get your puppy, it's not done right away. If you train until 6 months, you need to keep going because your dog will try you out to see if you are really consistent with the behavior that you want to see or that they can take out of it. So I invite you, Sybil, to stay with us. And beside that, we still love to see you every time when you come. But stay with it because you want to set your dog up with a strong foundation for the next 10 to 15 years, right?
That's very true.
Yeah, awesome. Sybil, I cannot thank you enough for all you mentioned. I think your story is unique, is very specific, that if you are retired and on your own, a dog can be a great companion, but not without the commitment to train it the way how you want it.
That's true. That's very true because Remy is pretty well blueprinted to my needs.
Yes, and that's what we all should do.
In many things that he does, he's blueprinted, and we have worked together, and it's been a commitment. And there's a couple of little behaviors that you look at, and you look if you have a bad behavior or something you don't want a dog to do, you look on how to change it. Like Remy likes to jump up on the door when he's outside. There's ways to get around that, but you better be one step ahead of him, like get to the door so he doesn't jump up on it and have him sit, and then he comes in. So yes. there's ways around it.
Yes, and that's what we do in the training. If you come up with a story of a certain behavior that you don't like to see, we always ask you, what is the behavior before it does it? Or where does that behavior come from? What is the trigger for the dog to get to that behavior that you don't like to see? And if you get there and you are aware of that part, that is the time where you can change it. So perfect. We need to be aware. We need to accept what is. And every behavior that your dog shows you is coming from you. So guess what? Who can change it then? You as well. Awesome.
Thank you.
And there we have the cat in the side as well. Yeah. The cat said, "Hey, I'm there too. I want some attention." Oh. So in your house, Sybil, you are living on your own with the dog Remy and a cat, Toby?
Toby.
Yes, Toby. And I love that. And I'm very happy how we got all the progress that we did with Remy. But it's mainly because you committed to this and that you kept going and didn't give up. I am so proud. And I want to thank you so much for the detailed version of how you got Remy, what Remy is for you, and where are we going. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you, and I see you again.
Yes, we shall. Thank you.
Oh, bye.